Hello students, this is Anita Goswami, Assistant Professor of English, Government College Rajgarh Churu. Uh, Welcome to all of you students, and our today's topic is The Soldier, a poem by Rupert Brooke. This poem is prescribed in BA Part 2nd, MGSU Bikaner. And before moving ahead, let's have a brief intro of the poet of this poem, Rupert Brooke. He was born in 1887 and died in 1915. Brooke was a war poet. He is closely identified with the ideas and thoughts related to the commencement of the First World War. Brooke received his education from Rugby and King's College, Cambridge, and wrote poetry, prose, and drama. His war sonnets include The Soldier, also which appeared in the new numbers early in 1915. Rupert Brooke's war poetry led him to become a hero of the nation due to the sentiments of patriotism and the presence of lyricism in his poetry. Subsequent to the horrors of World War I, Brooke faced tremendous criticism for his glorification of war, and his poetry was considered naive and lacking in depth. So, as we know that during the First World War, Rupert Brooke, he came in the limelight of poetry or in literary world through his war poetry, and basically he himself was a soldier in an army, in British Army. So that's why we also find the kind of glorification of war in his poetry, and he has diverse opinions about so many things, but in spite of his diverse opinions, Brooke occupies an important place in the history of English literature for being representative of his age. So The Soldier is a poem by Rupert Brooke, and basically this poem was written during the first year of the First World War in 1914. You can say 1914, and it got published in 1915 during the war. It is a deeply patriotic and idealistic poem that expresses a soldier's love for his homeland, and here in this case about England, which is portrayed as a kind of nurturing paradise. So indeed, such is the soldier's bond with England, with his native country, that he feels his country to be both the origin of his existence and the place to which his consciousness will return when he dies. The poem was a hit with the public at the time, and capturing the early enthusiasm of the war before the grim realities of long-term conflict made themselves known, as nowadays the poem is seen as somewhat naive, offering little of actual experience of war. So it undoubtedly captures and distills a particular type of patriotism of the poet here. So The Soldier is one of the five sonnets that Rupert Brooke composed shortly after the commencement of the World War I and published in 1915 with the title 1914 and Other Poems, written in 2 stanzas. because this is basically a sonnet, so in two stanzas, where it is divided in two stanzas, the which called as an octave and a sestet. It is his famous poem expressing the idealism common throughout the nations of Europe as they marched to battle in 1914 during the First World War. So now moving ahead to the text of this poem, here we are. So here the speaker is the poet, or Rupert Brooke is himself, who, being a soldier, expresses his own feelings about his patriotism when he say, as we read in the beginning of this poem, the very first line is like this: if I should die, think only this of me, that there is some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. So here the speaker, he conveys his personal feelings, his when he says that if I should die, means if he dies in the war, think only this of me, that there is some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. He says that if he dies in the war, he wants to be remembered in a particular way. Think only of this me. And what is that particular thing? That he says, think of how the far off land on which he will die, he that will have a small piece of England forever. So he says that that particular place will become his own land, that is England. And after then he says, there shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. So in the next lines, the poet is saying that there shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, means that earth will be enriched by my dead body, by poet's dead body. The earth will be enriched by the poet's dead body, because his body is made from dirt born in England. When he says a dust, the dirt born in England, because he was born in England, and that dust which shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam. He says that England created him and gave him consciousness, gave him her blooming plants to fall in love with, her flowers to love, means that his native land provided him her blooming plants to fall in love with, and gave him his sense of freedom. When he says her ways to roam, means he experienced total freedom in his own native land. That land provided him the sense of freedom. A body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. He says that his body belongs to England. A body of England means his own body belongs to England, and it has always breathed. He has always breathed English air, and washed by the rivers. England's rivers cleansed him, washed him, and he was blessed by England's sun, blessed by sons of home. He felt blessed. Why? Because he he pays his gratitude towards his own native land, that he felt himself blessed. And in the next stated part of this poem, what he says in next lines, he says, and think this hurt all evil said away, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less, gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends and gentleness, in hearts at peace, under an English heaven. So here the poet says that, and think this hurt all evil said away. This hurt means the heart of the poet. He says that, and think and also consider the way in which my soul, my heart feels. He says that the way in which my soul through death will be made pure, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less, give somewhere back the thoughts by England's given. That he says that his own consciousness will return to the eternal mind, immortal consciousness, like a beating pulse, and return the beautiful thoughts that England gave him, the beautiful thoughts which have been given by his own native land, England. So he says that his consciousness will remain eternally, will remain forever, like the pulse, like the beating pulse in his heart. And after that, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day. He says that I will return the sights and sounds of my home country, and laughter, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends and gentleness, in hearts at peace, under an English heaven. And he will return to the beautiful dreams of that were as happy as England's daytime. Those dreams are happiest thing for him. Why? Those dreams that were as happy as England's daytime, and to the laughter shared with English friends, the laughter he used to share with his native people, his English friends. And he says that I'll return England's gentleness, the gentleness which lives in the English minds that are at peace under the English sky. Under an English heaven means under the English sky, the English heaven, where he will be at peace too when he dies. So we get to know that the poet here expresses his deep gratitude towards his own native country, his own homeland, England. And here we also find the themes like war, patriotism, nationhood. So this poem Soldier actually explores the bond, the kind of strong bond, deep rooted bonding between a patriotic British soldier and his homeland. Through this soldier's passionate discussion of his relationship to England, the poem implies that people are formed by their home environment and culture, and that their country is something worth defending with their life. So, indeed, the soldier sees himself as owing his own identity and happiness to England, and accordingly, he is also willing to sacrifice his life for the greater good of his nation. Even so, this is then a deeply patriotic poem, and implicitly arguing that nations have their own specific character and values, and that England's are especially worthy of praise. And we also find that though most people might fear death, particularly the violent kind of death during the war time, so here the speaker of the soldier is even prepared to die because he believes that he would be doing it for his beloved homeland. The speaker doesn't want people to grieve his own death. He sees his potential death in some foreign field as something noble, some noble thing, a way of making a small piece of the world forever England. So that's because he sees himself as an embodiment of his nation. Accordingly, when dying somewhere in foreign land leaves a small part of the home nation in that foreign land. So nationhood is portrayed as something that is inseparable from a person's identity, even when they die. And indeed, here the speaker feels he owes his identity itself primarily to his country. So here the land England is personified in the lines like a dust whom England bore, shaped and aware. So here the native land England is personified by using the word bore and shaped, which nourished him with sun. And in the octave part of the sonnet, that is 8 lines stanza, this octave is devoted to creating a sense of England as a pastoral, idyllic and even Eden-like place. And the poem's imagery of rivers, flowers, earth, air, sun, all is part of an attempt to transform his feeling of nationhood from a human concept to something more fundamental and natural, as though that this land is infused with the character of its people and vice versa. So here the concept of nationhood is so deeply embedded in the people who live there, as we find that the whole poem argues about this fact that it extends beyond the earthly realm. It extends to the heaven, even that the speaker hopes to go to specifically an English heaven. So this is because the speaker's idea of heaven is a projection, how he sees England. Apart from being a kind of natural nurturing mother, England is already a kind of heaven for the poet. So indeed we can find that the whole poem presents England as a kind of that everything about England is supposedly pure and nourishing, and the speaker's consciousness will return to an eternal mind when he the kind of place he created through the words in his poem about his homeland that it's a powerful expression of patriotic desire and belief in the bond between people and their homeland. So, here, students, uh, I hope you have understood it well. Now, that's all for today. Thank you.